In this video, I'm going to walk you through how we can make functions with return statements off the canvas. So I would love for you to open up this editor. We're going to try and make functions with returns. Good reminder, you should pause this video, rewind this video, do whatever you need so you get this information. Okay, so please note that we are off canvas today, so you can move your canvas all the way over. The draw and the setup have been commented out. So together we're going to code out two functions with parameters and return values. One with just one parameter and one with two parameters. So we're going to make a shout function. So just so you know, that's going to take something like angle and ultimately return angle. It might take in it is Wednesday, and it returned it is Wednesday. So we're going to make a function just like we started in our first unit. We give it a function, we give it a name. I'm going to call this shoutbot, parentheses and curly brackets. Now, in order to shout, we need something to shout, whether it is Wednesday, whether it's angle. So I'm going to take in a cent. A cent is my parameter or placeholder. What I'm going to do inside of my function, inside of my curlies, is I'm going to add a new variable. So I'm going to do var, and I'm going to call it shouted cent equals. And we need to find a way to take this sentence and make it uppercase. So I'm actually going to do some Googling. I'm going to go and I'm going to say JavaScript turn to uppercase. Oh, W3 Schools, amazing. And it looks like I can do, I hope that this actually got bigger for you. There we go. Whatever my variable name is, dot to uppercase. So in fact, I think I'm just going to copy that. So I'm going to put my parameter, a cent, dot to uppercase. So it's going to take whatever I have and make it to uppercase. And then, very important, we need to return our shouted cent. So it's going to take whatever is in place of the parameter, we're going to make it uppercase, and we're going to return it. So in order to call this, what we do is we make a variable. I'm going to call this shout1. Shout1 equals shoutbot, parentheses, and then I'm going to put whatever word I want to say. So I'm going to put angle. And then I'm going to console.log shout1. And you can say it did all caps angle. Now it didn't do the exclamation points, and you can add that by coming to the end of your shouted cent and concatenating with a plus and semicolons. You can do it again. I could do var shout2 equals shoutbot, and I could do whatever I said above here. It is Wednesday, and I could console.log shout2. And there we go. I think it's always important to call your functions 3 times, so pause this video and try and do that. Do it one more time. Now, one thing I do want to talk about real quick is the two things that we have here. Outside of the function, before we move on to the second one, I just want to console.log a cent. That's right here. And you'll see I got an error, a cent is not defined. It seems you may have accidentally written a cent. Now, so this doesn't work. A cent is local to the shoutbot function. It is a parameter. Similarly, if I tried to console.log shouted cent, just right here, this one tells me it's not defined in the current scope, which means it knows it's there, but it sees it inside of a function. So shouted send is also local. It's also local to the function, so it can't be used outside. Okay, so the second function we're going to make together is 2 parameters. Let's code out a function called homeroombot that takes in 2 parameters, a person's name and a homeroom, and spits out a sentence that says, if you forgot your homeroom, I can remind you it's blank. So I'm going to write my function. I'm going to write homeroombot parentheses curlies. And it says it takes in 2 parameters, a person's name and a homeroom. So I'm going to write a name and a homeroom. And it spits out a sentence, so I'm going to make a var, a sentence, equals to, and it says, if you forget your homeroom, and then it wants us to put the name here. So I'm going to concatenate plus a name, plus I can remind you it is, and I'm going to concatenate again and say a homeroom. Now I'm going to come here and I'm going to try and call my function. So I'm going to do var homeroom1, and I'm going to say homeroom1 equals homeroombot. And maybe I'm going to say Engel, and she is in Yale. And I'm going to try and console.log homeroom1. You'll notice this time it says undefined. And that's because I forgot a very, very key step. And that step is that I need to return my send. If you don't return your send, you'll get undefined. Now we could do this again. Our homeroom2 equals homeroombot. I think I'm going to do me. My homeroom I think is Smith and Schumann. And what I want you to notice is this time it said, if you forgot your homeroom Smith, I can remind you it's Schumann. The computer doesn't know that Schumann is my name and that Smith is my homeroom. It just knows that the first thing it gets, it's treating as a name and it's putting here. And the second thing it gets, it's putting at the end. So if I wanted it to be correct, I have to be very mindful of my order. Okay, excited to see what you can do.